Hello. Ko yaga bam soro banap. Okay, let's invite you. Hi, Dashing Promise. Likes and attract views. Okay, let's. Hello. I've invited.
Hello.
No, if
Brundianza, can you hear
you saw my
me?
invitation. Hi, how are you, Dashing Promise, and where are you? Where are
Can you hear
you?
me?
Oh no, we can't do that. Invite. Come on and.
Okay.
Oh God, we'll get there. We'll get there. In the end, am I not visible then, or something?
Yeah, you're not visible.
Huh?
No, you're not. You're on audio.
Good God, what's going on? How do I switch video on?
Do you see at the bottom
Oh,
where
I
it says?
see. There we
There you
go.
go.
Yeah, I am. Yay. So I'm fine from Nigeria. Hello. Is Nigeria today. It's good to have you here. So we want to talk about relationships. Louise, hi. We've got this situation in relationships where there's a story that I was reading where someone was in a relationship with a guy, a lady was, and I am well, Dashing Promise, thank you very much. And the guy, there were issues in the relationship. She was very anxious, she was clingy, and the guy was behaving in a way that's not helpful too for the relationship. And consequently, he decided that he didn't want to stay in the relationship. So the girl was asking a question. She was asking what she needs to do to make sure the guy stays in the relationship, because the guy had already left, but they were in touch. He was still in touch with her, and she was responding in the hope that things would work out. So in this situation, there are a few things going on here. The first thing, Louise, if you want to join us, come and join us. It's a simple topic, really. And if anyone wants to chip in or to share their perspective around the issue, you are welcome. There are a few things that are happening in a relationship. Thank you, Dashing Promise. In a situation where a guy has left the relationship, it might be a woman also who leaves such a relationship, and the woman or the other person is hoping that this person will come back. Why? Because they are still in contact, because the guy or the other person who has left has maintained contact. So Runako, I don't know if you want to say anything about this. What do you think is going on here, and what do you think is the way forward?
I think the way forward is just to have clarity, because if there's no relationship, and I'm not sure why do people keep in contact though. If you are done with the relationship, if you were together because of a relationship and now the relationship didn't work, what is the purpose of keeping in touch?
That's right. Yeah, I think consequently you can be in a relationship with someone. Hi, Sam. Hi, Lone Wolf. If you want to come up here, I think it would be lovely to have more people to discuss. We are just starting to chat about relationships. There are things that are happening in this situation. Renago, thank you for sharing. Excuse me. The first thing is there was a dynamic that led to the breakup. And can you please tap the screen and share the video, the live, so that we can get more people to join in. There are a few things happening in this situation. There is a dynamic that was at play that led to the breakup. There was something unhealthy going on, which then led to people breaking up, number one. Number two, the relationship broke down. And when the relationship broke down, like Runako said, it is helpful and important that for a period you maintain no contact. Thank you for sharing, Dashing. You maintain no contact. Why? Because when you maintain no contact for a period, it gives you an opportunity to heal. It gives you an opportunity again to do what Runako said, to get clarity in the relationship or about the relationship, and clarity to understand yourself in the context of that particular relationship and the relationships in general. Because what happens in relationships can give you an idea of your own issues as a person, as well as your own issues in relationship to other people. Then the other issue here is that you break up with someone and they are in touch, in contact. That can be a manipulative strategy. One, it is manipulative in that it can keep the other person hoping that there is something to work through. And number two, it can be a coping strategy for you, the person who is deciding to keep in contact, because you can't manage the anxiety of not having someone in your life. And that anxiety of not having someone in your life, perhaps you are waiting to meet another person to replace this person, and you can meet another person whilst you are being soothed by having your ex in your life. That is manipulative. At the same time, in relationships, we are adults. If someone wants to keep you in a relationship that's ended, it is up to you as an adult to make decisions in your best interest and to leave such a dynamic, and make sure you take space and heal your life away from a place that made you ill. Because in a space where you broke up, it's like a space that made you ill. So if you stay around that situation or a relationship with that person, you are not going to heal, because you don't have opportunity to distance yourself, to get clarity, to heal, and to get used to not being with this person. Do you want to say anything before I proceed, Runako, about this?
I do agree with what you are saying, actually. It's all, like you are saying, it's all manipulative, because that person is waiting to know another person, then then let you go and say, oh, I find somebody better. So it is more important to move yourself from the situation. Even that person says to you, oh, let's keep in touch. You said, okay, but right now I'm going to focus on myself. And when I want to get in touch with you, I'll get in touch with you. But at the moment, I'm going to focus on myself, because the relationship has ended.
That is true. That is true. Because, I mean, there are people who might ask, are you saying that you can't be friends with your ex? Yes, you can be friends with your ex.
No, can I say something? Let's say I broke up with Peter. I keep in touch with Peter. Then we are friends with Peter. Then I meet James. I broke up with James. I keep friends with James. How is that going to work? If I found someone and I have all those, I'm still in touch with all my exes.
The thing about it is, I think if we don't attach to outcomes, we can heal first. And then if you want to be friends at some point, but not straight away, it's possible. Some people have remained friends with their exes, but that comes from having managed to heal your life and gotten clarity, and you are no longer attached to the idea that this person might be the one, or you want to be with them again. There are friendships which do work, although they are far and few. I mean, they are few and far between. They are not very common, and some can happen, but they might not be healthy. But it is possible, although I would not recommend it. But it's not black and white what people do in life. Yeah, as long as it's healthy and as long as there is no hidden agenda.
Yes.
I feel that is that is possible, but I do agree with you. It can cause problems in some relationships because some partners are not happy for a partner to be, in contact with their exes. So it's helpful to reflect. I don't know what's going on in your background. Um,
Oh, mine?
yes, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So welcome everyone who's joining, and you are free to come and join us and have a chat with us, and you are also free to comment about situations where your needs are not being met in a relationship. So the idea here is when you are in a situation where you have broken up and your ex is in touch with you, it is helpful for you to distance yourself and to ensure that you are healing your life away from your ex, and you are getting to know yourself on a deeper level, as well as creating other relationships and investing in other relationships. Because again, the reason why you might then want to be friends with your ex maybe too soon is because you probably don't have other relationships in your life, other relationships to invest in, and other relationships that can nurture you, and you are basing your life on a single relationship, which is what most people do. They tend to base their happiness and life on romance, whereas there are other relationships out there to invest in. There are other people out there we can relate with, people we can spend time with, people we can do things with without just focusing on a romantic relationship. And when an ex stays in touch with us, it can interfere with our opportunity to meet another person, because for you to create a relationship, to meet a healthier relating person, for you to meet a replacement for your ex, you need to create the space physically and psychologically. And if your ex is in your life, there is no such opportunity to create space, because you are still attached to your ex if you haven't taken space. And also, by that ex being physically in your life, it's going to be difficult for another person to take any space, because there's no space for another person to take, isn't it, Runa? Runako, are you there?
Yes, I do agree with you. And I have a question.
Mhm.
To me, my question is, okay, what is the purpose of keeping in touch with the ex when you meet the person? You are focused to have, let's say it's a romantic relationship, and when that romantic relationship ended, why is the purpose of holding on to whatever new relationship is, or whatever it is you keep in touch for, instead of just move on and say, this didn't work for me, I'm letting it go, I'm moving on?
This is what we are talking about. This is attachment. It's abandonment trauma. People can hold on to an ex because of fear of abandonment. People can stay around an ex because they are hoping that something is going to change. I don't know if that's the question you are asking, but it's related with trauma. With we need to look at how we were raised. We need to look at our caregivers, childhood caregivers. We need to look at our past to find out why we do what we do, why we keep holding on. Because if we were raised in an environment where love was in short supply, where we were not given attention, or where there was an absent caregiver or parent, then we are bound to repeat patterns of abandonment. We cling to people in the hope that they will give us the love that we didn't get in childhood. We cling to people hoping that we can fix our caregivers in our partner. So if someone wants to leave, in fact, even the leaving itself can come from self-sabotage patterns, where we repeat patterns from our childhood that can then push away our partner. For example, I was talking about this person who was very clingy, and her clingy behaviors ended up pushing away her partner. Not that the partner was right or didn't make any mistakes, but that clinginess is an abandonment defensive strategy, because someone is trying to prevent abandonment. They are trying to prevent their partner from leaving, so they cling to them, they hold on to them, but in so doing, they are actually pushing away that partner because they feel like they can't breathe in the relationship. So consequently, they need space from the relationship and they leave. And this person who was left by the partner, because they don't understand what they are doing, because they are acting on a subconscious level, will continue to cling because they are hoping that this person will come back. They are hoping that this person will stay. So I don't know if that's what you were asking. On the other hand, if you are asking about why would someone want to be in a relationship, to be friends with an ex, even after healing, as I said, there's nothing black and white in life. People can get along on a friendship level, but not on a romantic level. And sometimes people can make good friends rather than good partners. So even though a relationship has ended and they've done some healing on themselves and they've met someone else, they can still make good friends because their relationship was better as friends than as partners.
Okay. Yeah. I understand now.
So those are some of the things that we need to think about. Then there is, again, in relationship to this situation we are talking about, where you are looking into, are they meeting my needs? Should I be staying around someone who is not meeting your needs? There's also the need to assess how you are showing up. Are you showing up in a way that allows a relationship, a healthy relationship to unfold? Or are you showing up in a way that thwart off the chances of a healthy relationship? And we are talking about those behaviors again, the clingy behaviors, the challenging behaviors that one might exhibit in a relationship. And those behaviors, are they helpful for you to create a healthy dynamic? Because that is what is important when we look at relationships. Many people like the idea of a relationship, of a healthy relationship, but they also overlook what constitutes a healthy relationship, what is needed to make up a healthy relationship or to create a healthy relationship. And that is more important than just wanting to be in a relationship, because what is needed to be in a healthy relationship is to show healthy behaviors, to have a strong self-connection, to know what you want, and to also ensure you are acting in a way that invites another person to see you, to acknowledge you, and to accept you, that invites another person to feel safe above all in the relationship, because people want to be safe wherever they are. If they are not safe, they will run or they will fight.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know if there's anything else or anyone else who wants to say something else about this topic, about this situation we are discussing.
I agree with you. Everybody wants to be in a safe relationship. And as soon as a person start to feel that they are no longer safe, you're gonna start to run or start to distance yourself.
True. Because I think that's the one aspect of a relationship that people overlook, the fact that people want to be safe. Because the whole reason why people will start to fight in a relationship, that people will start to cling, that people will start to distance or to apply silent treatment, is because they don't feel safe in the relationship. And when you don't feel safe in a relationship, you are not going to step up, and you are not going to want to be there. At some point, you're going to start thinking, I need to get out of here. And if you are not secure in yourself, you are going to find self-destructive strategies or unhelpful strategies to exit rather than to actually address the situation. You see, this is where the difference is, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Because if you are secure, what do?
You don't, if you are secure, you don't run and you talk to the person. If you feel like, okay, something, doesn't feel, and this is a safe place, you're going to talk about it.
Even if it's not safe, people who are secure will communicate because they will express how they feel about the situation and about the space, and also they will express their standard. And if their standard is not met and they still feel like this situation will trigger them, then they will communicate their exit.
Yes.
Yeah. Compared to the insecure attached person, because the insecure attached person is going to use their unhelpful strategies, self-sabotage patterns to run or to fight.
I think every time you feel like you're in danger, you're gonna try to run. Your mind is the first thing is defense.
Absolutely. That's true. And you see, this is a powerful thing that you have said there, because that's what happens in relationships, and people don't realize that people are in fight and flight mode because they don't feel safe. They are not feeling safe in the relationship. So what do? The anxious person will get into the space and start to fight and start to confront and start to overfunction and start to over-explain and start to do all sorts of things that they would need instead of allowing the other person to step into the space. And the avoidant person is going to detach, not in a healthy way, but they might apply the silent treatment, or they might ignore, or some people will go and cheat in the relationship instead of actually sitting down to discuss and talk to their partner.
Yes. So it all comes down to what's your attachment?
Attachment style. That's true, because our attachment styles will play a role in how we respond to conflict. Because if we are we are anxious attached, we are going to get into the space and we are going to try and fight in the space. We are going to try and overfunction. We are going to try and do all sorts of things in order to cover up, to get into the space, and to also we can end up doing what the other person is supposed to do. This is why they talk about the anxious person. They can end up, for example, a man and a woman, they said the woman is anxious. She can end up traveling all the time to the man, buying the man stuff, doing more for the man than he is doing himself. But there's also anxious men who can end up doing more and more than they are supposed to do in the relationship. And then there is the avoidant person who avoid the whole relationship.
Yes.
Yeah. And stonewall, silent treatment, and so forth.
So are people supposed to, okay, so when you meet someone, are you supposed to ask them, not supposed, it's just a general question, what would be the safest thing to do? To ask a person like, hey, what's your attachment style?
Well, I think on a conscious level, that's practical. That's practical. It's good to discuss these situations, but it goes beyond just asking about attachment styles. It's also about understanding their emotional currents, which attachment style can come into that. But you can also assess after that, and also be curious about this person's upbringing. Be curious about this person's traumas and how they were brought up, and their coping strategies and their conflict resolution strategies. It's quite helpful to be interested in that, in the other person, and their upbringing. The only thing is, again, people can only share how they were raised if they feel safe, because this has to be a conscious conversation, and the conversation needs to be built up over time rather than be a sudden conversation, or something, a situation where you have to talk about everything in one go. It's not possible, because some people will use your past against you, so people tend to be scared to open up.
Yeah. And you don't want to, like you are saying, you have to assess the situation and to know the person, after a while. But either way, even after you know a person for a while, they can still use it also against you, because when you feel safe, then when the relationship ends, some people will use that too against you.
It's I think sometimes it's okay. When you are conscious and you have done the work, what people do is their problem. If you shared from a point of vulnerability, and also in order to grow the relationship, because if someone is asking and you are also discussing and you are all growth aware and looking into developing a healthy and conscious relationship, then I don't think it matters so much what another person does after the relationship ends. And also, if you are both growth conscious, usually that kind of thing doesn't happen if people are conscious and growing.
Some people, it depends how the relationship ends.
But we are talking about people who want to grow, people who want to be conscious, and people who are doing inner work. And someone asking, can you tell me about your attachment style? And what are your issues? What do you want in a relationship? And what do you expect of me? And also, this is what I expect of you. In an environment of growth, there's no room for, when this relationship ends, somebody's going to be malicious. This mostly happens in unconscious relationships, unhealthy relationships, which start unhealthy and end unhealthy. And throughout the duration of an unhealthy relationship, people ignore red flags. Most of the yeah.
I'm gonna be still online, but I'm gonna go on mute because I'm gonna be driving. Okay.
That's
So
right.
it doesn't, the background sound doesn't affect when the live. But I'll stay online, but I'm gonna mute myself.
No, I'm going to go too. I prefer to do short and sweet. And I think we'll chat again. We'll catch up tomorrow. And I hope you have a good night, and I hope you have a good time with the kids. Thank you for being here and for your contribution. Okay, thank you everyone for joining in and being here. I'm hoping that we probably will see you again. And as usual, assess your relationship, assess how you are showing up in your relationship. And if your needs are not being met, the first thing is to be sure about what you are looking for. The next thing is to be sure about your boundaries. And the next thing is also to ensure you're not trying to make something happen or to force someone to be in your life when they don't, or to do things that they are not willing to do. Be conscious of what you want and make sure you are giving it to yourself. Practice self-care, be in the moment, and just enjoy life and what is in front of you, and focus on people who are meeting your needs. Thank you so much for being here. Quality life before relationships. See you soon.